Welcome, little friends, to the magical world of Pip's Ki Kahaniya. Let's begin our story.
Let's go back in time. Picture this. We're on the banks of a dying river, in a city that's literally choking on its own filth. This is a story about two very different worlds colliding, a meeting that would end up changing that city and its future forever. The year is 1858, the place, London. Now, when you think of mid-19th century London, you probably imagine gas lamps, maybe some horse-drawn carriages. But the biggest feature of this particular summer wasn't something you'd see. It was something you'd smell. An absolutely overwhelming, inescapable stench. And trust me, they called it the Great Stink for a reason. So where was it coming from? Well, the source of this whole citywide crisis was the River Thames itself. For centuries, it was the city's lifeblood, right? But by 1858, it had basically become a public sewer. We're talking a thick, toxic soup of human waste and industrial chemicals. And it's right in the middle of this crisis that our story really gets going. Now, for our first character, a young man named Silas Thorne. This disgusting river wasn't some disaster. Nope. For him, it was his workplace. The smell that made powerful politicians literally run for the hills was, for Silas, just the smell of another day at the office. You see, Silas was a mudlark. His job was to wade out into that foul river mud when the tide was low and just sift through it, looking for anything valuable he could sell. It was a pretty grim way to live, for sure. But here's the thing. The same pollution that was choking the river was also churning up its hidden history. So for Silas, every low tide was an opportunity. We're not talking about pirate treasure chests here. The daily haul was usually pretty humble stuff. Old copper coins, maybe a discarded buckle, some scraps of metal. These were the little forgotten pieces of London's past, swallowed by the river and then spit back up in this thick black mud. But every once in a while, if you were really lucky, you might just find a bit of silver. And on this one day, Silas Thorne's luck was about to take a serious turn. As he was sifting through the usual grime, his fingers brushed up against something different. Something that definitely wasn't a rock or another piece of rusted iron. So he pulls it free. And there it is. It's cold, it's smooth, and it's heavy. It's a gold ring. And as he wipes away centuries of filth, he sees this clear crest etched into it. A soaring hawk. This wasn't just some old bit of metal. It was a real piece of a forgotten noble past, pulled right out of the muck. For a kid like Silas, this wasn't just history. This was a fortune. But just as Silas is trying to wrap his head around this incredible find, his moment is cut short by a voice from the embankment. There's a man standing there, watching him, a man who, it turns out, has a very, very different vision for this river. Just like that, the man knows exactly what the ring is. This is Joseph Bazalgette. He's an engineer, and he is obsessed not with the river's past treasures, but with saving the entire city from its toxic present. Right away, you can tell this guy is a figure of knowledge, of authority, and of incredible ambition. And this moment right here perfectly captures these two worlds colliding on the riverbank. You've got Silas, the mudlark. His entire world is looking down, sifting through the mud, salvaging treasures from the past just to survive one more day. And then you have Bazalgette, the engineer. He's looking forward to the horizon, planning this massive, incredible network for the good of everyone. It's individual survival versus collective progress, playing out right there in the stinking mud. Their conversation quickly becomes more than just about a ring. It becomes a kind of metaphor for the choice that London itself was facing. Was it going to keep being a city where people had to pick through the filth just to get by? Or was it going to invest in a shared, healthier future for every single person? So Bazalgette, he lays out his huge vision. He gestures to the toxic river and explains his, frankly, revolutionary plan. A massive, interconnected system of underground tunnels, a web of brick and iron, as he calls it, designed to catch all the city's waste and carry it far, far away out to the sea. He was essentially promising to completely erase Silas's entire world. Now, you've got to put yourself in Silas's shoes. For him, this ring isn't some abstract idea. It's real. It's immediate. Pawning it means a month of good food, a clean bed to sleep in, maybe without lice for once. It's a ticket out of his grim reality, even if it's just for a little while. Bazalgette doesn't offer Silas any gold in his new world. He's blunt, his tunnels, they'll just be filled with darkness, but also with progress. And then he makes it personal. He says they will save Silas's sisters and thousands of others from cholera, the deadly waterborne disease that was constantly tearing through the city's slums. And he finishes with this piercing question that just hangs in the air. What's the real value of progress? Can you actually weigh a piece of gold against the health of an entire city? A personal fortune against the public good? In the end, the choice, for both Silas and for the City of London, would be forged not in gold, but in millions and millions of bricks, laid deep beneath the city streets. So, the Great Sting of 1858 was the final straw. By the 1860s, Bazalgette's massive engineering project was in full swing. And the result? It was staggering. The cholera epidemics that had terrorized London for decades were pretty much brought to an end. But this progress had a price. As new stone embankments were built along the river, the muddy shores, the entire world of the Mudlarks, it just vanished. And what about Silas? What did he choose? Well, he sold the ring. But not for a month of comfort. He used the money to fund an apprenticeship. Silas Thorne, the boy who once scavenged in the mud, became a stonemason. And in this really poignant, ironic twist of fate, he actually got a job helping to build the very tunnels that buried his past, that same network of brick and iron that finally quieted the river's secrets and saved his city. You know, the story of the Mudlark and the architect is this great reminder that every huge leap forward leaves something or someone behind. It brings up this timeless question that really every generation has to answer for itself. What is the price of progress, and who ultimately is the one who pays it?